What's up, guys? Lewin here at GarageBand and Beyond with another Guitar Tuesday. Woohoo! Guitar Tuesday. We're going to talk about the best guitar in my collection. This is my Martin HD28. I think it's appropriate to talk about it as 2016 is winding down because this is the 100-year anniversary of the Dreadnought guitar, which is, this guitar right here. This is a Dreadnought. Invented by the Martin Guitar Company in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. One of the most famous guitars in the world, undoubtedly. This is an icon. The image, the shape, all of it. This is the guitar that sort of, started everything. This was one of those industry standard guitars that more or less for the last 50 years, we'll say the HD28 and the D28 were the industry benchmarks for build quality and tonal quality. Every other guitar maker out there, even today, I'm talking Taylor, Santa Cruz, Bourgeois, all those guys, the Martin guitar has always remained that benchmark instrument that, like, if it sounds as good as this guitar, then they all know they're in the right neighborhood, But there's a totally good reason that this is the famous instrument that it is, and because it's so flipping amazing sounding. And I wish you could come over and play it, all of you. But this is by far the best playing acoustic guitar I've ever played. I played tons and tons of guitars, but this one I have taken extremely good care of. I've had it refretted. It's set up exactly how I want it to be, and it's awesome. Even like when I have my luthier set this up, I have him use Jeweler's Rouge on the frets to get like the highest polish on the frets that you can get. It's like an extra step that a lot of instruments don't get. But that is Jeweler's Rouge. If you can ask your luthier to use that, he might roll his eyes at you. But trust me, it's like butter. It's like butter. So some of you may have noticed that the headstock is missing the emblem, and it looks a little rough, right? So back in 1998, actually my house burned down, and when I finally was woken up and got out to where all my instruments were, this was in its case, but the case was totally on fire. Exactly, the headstock area was on fire. But I just picked it up, chucked it out of the window like all my other instruments, and then soaked them down with a hose so they stopped smoldering. And thankfully, this guitar survived. Because, come on, it's an HD28. What an awful thing to lose in a fire. Oh, man, I lost a lot of good instruments. But anyway, there's a really good reason that this guitar is so famous. And it's all in the playability, the quality, and the tone, but primarily the tone. So I'm just going to play, okay? I'm just going to play around a little bit. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to personally play a really high-end guitar like this, but go down to your local guitar shop, if they sell high-end guitars. Go down and find the best, the most expensive Martin that they sell, and play it. Sit down. Hopefully it has some clean strings on it, and hopefully it's been, taken care of in the shop. But even if not, you should still be able to tell the difference if you play sort of like a lesser expensive instrument. There is something absolutely magical and special about playing a high-end guitar if you're a guitar player. If you don't play guitar, this will not apply to you. But if you play like a super, super high-end acoustic guitar, there's just something about the way that it resonates even against your body, under your fingers, the way it feels in your hands. It's just so different than lesser expensive guitars. And it's one of those like indicators, like this is why this is so expensive. But I will say this. This is a 1990. Yeah, this is a 1990. I actually acquired it in 91. But yeah, it's a 1990. And so I was checking out on eBay yesterday, actually, how much these go for used, and it's actually pretty reasonable compared to like the ones from the 80s, which are now becoming sort of like collector-y. But the 90s Martin HD28s are not that valuable yet. They're not that sought after by collectors or anything. So if you're looking to get one of these, but you're like, the brand new ones are just too expensive, get one from the 90s. I love mine. You know, just get it, properly set it up, and take really good care of it, and it'll be awesome to you. But yeah, something about high-end guitars, man. If you've played one, you know what I'm talking about. It literally gives me like this guitar playing it, the sound of it. It really does like just give you the chills sometimes. Almost every time I play this guitar and I like, at some moment it'll just make some sound or resonate against me a certain way, and it's just like, yeah, I love you too. You know? So good, you guys. So yeah, you know, there's just not much to say except I love this guitar. This is the best guitar in my collection. And it's also, you know, this is where it all began. Like for folk music, or in the 60s, you know, like everybody had either this or the D28. This was just the instrument that everybody had and wanted. A, there was a lot less builders, but B, this was just the best of the best that was going on in those days. You know, Gibson was making acoustics, but you don't see many players from the 60s using them for their acoustic value. You know, like, I mean, let's say John Lennon. Okay, John Lennon used his Gibson, the one with the knobs on it, you know. That got a lot of attention, but you know, if you're talking about like Bob Dylan or anybody on the folk scene, it was always Martin guitars. You know, even, you know, there's videos of like Jimi Hendrix playing his HD28. Obviously, Paul McCartney is a big Martin guy. I mean, I don't think I've ever... The only other acoustic guitar I've ever seen him play is that Epiphone that he did yesterday on. But, you know, you play a Paul McCartney song on here and it just sounds exactly right. You know, like, let's do... I mean, it just has that Paul McCartney sound because this is the guitar that he plays, you know. Pretty simple mental math on that one. All right, you guys. Well, I don't know how much more just yakking I can do about how awesome this guitar is. I'm pretty sure I've made that point extremely clear. But yeah, check out the 90s ones if you're interested in buying a really high-end guitar for a lot less than a new one, you know. But that's it. Leave your comments below. If you have like a super awesome guitar, I'd love to hear about it. If you're a Martin guitar owner, or somebody who really wants a Martin guitar, or somebody who's like a Taylor guy who wants to duke it out, what's better, Taylor, Martin? I will happily do that with you. Super fun always to discuss those things with you guys. And of course on the Facebook page and, you know, Twitter and all that, yada yada. But please subscribe to my channel. Check out all these other videos that I've made. I've been here on the old YouTube for several years. I think I'm coming up on 7 years, something like that. I have over 250 videos, so I'd love it if you checked them out, and subscribe to my channel and support me on Patreon if you can. And you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Peace.